Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back to the last candle review of the day. If you missed the first two reviews that I uploaded, I'll go ahead and link them in the description box down below. I reviewed the Country Candle Sand and Santal as well as the Country Candle Lemon Tea and Roses. So if either of those two fragrances are of interest to you, I will go ahead and link them in the description box right below this video. But in this video here, we are going to talk about Oahu Passion. This is a newer fragrance from HomeWorx. And just in full disclosure, I did receive this one for free in PR. I am a HomeWorx ambassador, which means that just like with Kringle Candle, from time to time, we will be offered certain fragrances to be able to share our thoughts with you guys. So I did not pay for this specific one. All opinions expressed are still my own. This was Fragrance Week for HomeWorx. Actually, it was National Home Fragrance Week for every candle company. But this particular candle was on sale for $20. I'm not sure if Home Fragrance Week is still going on the weekend. In all honesty here, I am filming some content because my husband and I are going out of town for a few days. So I'm not sure if the candle sales are still happening this weekend. I will say that HomeWorx definitely had some really good deals on homeworx.shop. And it was really hard for me to not buy backups of some of my most beloved fragrances. If the deals are still happening, definitely check them out. There are a couple of sales where you can also combine an ambassador discount code, and that'll save you an additional 15%. Mine is Melanie15. It does not work with the, I believe it's the buy 5 get 1 free special, so you won't be able to use it with that. But it does work with some of the other sales that they are offering. So it's always worth just popping that into the coupon code when you go to checkout. Sorry, it's kind of later in the day. Obviously, the lighting is very different in this video here, and it's been a little bit of a long day, so my brain's a little tired, but I think we can make it through this. Okay, first of all, this candle is a little bit of a heartbreak for me in that I really actually like this particular fragrance a lot, but I'm finding the strength and throw and a few of the first burns. It's corrected itself now, but the first couple burns honestly were a little rough with this one. And I was kind of wondering if it would recover. I'm glad that it did, but it's still fairly light in terms of strength and throw. And honestly, this is one of those cases where it really breaks my heart, because this is one of the scents that I would love for it to just like fill my entire house. I have a huge love of anything passion fruit. And honestly, that's the predominant note that I smell in this one. And it makes me sad. Because honestly, if this one performed better in terms of strength and throw, it would be one of those fragrances from HomeWorx that I would be tempted to buy like 5 or 6 of to have on hand for this summer. I would burn this all summer long. It's not really a springtime fragrance to my nose, but honestly, if I had this during the month of like either July or August, it would just be the most perfect like signature home fragrance. It's really well done in terms of the overall fragrance composition, but again, we have some performance problems here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the fragrance notes. I'll tell you what I smell. We'll kind of go through the numbers with strength and throw. And then I'll tell you about a couple of the issues that I had initially with this one, which really made me think like, ooh, is it gonna recover? Or am I just gonna have to put this underneath a lamp? So, okay. So the scent story with this one starts with Paradise is Calling with intoxicating passion fruit, sun-warmed pineapple, delicate floral orange blossom, and comforting vanilla sugar. HomeWorx recently started listing top, middle, and bottom notes, and I think it's kind of nice to have those. Honestly, my nose, and I don't know if other people are like this, but my nose doesn't really travel like from top to bottom in terms of the way that the notes are listed. Sometimes I will smell a bottom note more prominently than one of the top notes. Certain notes I don't pick up at all, but I'm not one of those people with a super fancy nose where it like travels through the fragrance. I think it's amazing when people can do that. It's not me. So, but the top notes here, passion fruit, pineapple, and banana flower. The middle notes are lily of the valley, which at first when I saw the notes, I was like, oh no. I actually have a HomeWorx Lily of the Valley candle, and it's a really hard one for me to burn because it's just so potent. That particular floral note is so potent. And you really have to be into it, I think, to enjoy it. After the Lily of the Valley, we move into Orange Blossom, and then something called Soul Air. I want to get back to that Soul Air here in a minute, but let me tell you guys what the bottom notes are. Okay, vanilla, amber, and caramelized sugar. So, the Soul Air. I tried Googling this for about, I mean, I didn't spend like an hour on it. I said just 10 minutes on Google. It is trademarked, and it's air as in A-I-R-E. I tried several different spellings of air, and I couldn't find anything. If you know what Soul Air, trademarked, happens to smell like, definitely let me know. I don't know if I was just Googling wrong, but I have no idea what this fragrance note is. So I could possibly be smelling it, but I wouldn't know it maybe. I don't know. I feel like nothing in here is super unfamiliar to me. This isn't an overly, it's an exotic fragrance, and that is definitely like, it's got some tropical vibes to it, but exotic in terms of like fragrance notes that are, I don't know, super unique or hard to come by, I guess I could say. But anyway, so what does this smell like? First of all, passion fruit right off the bat. I love it. This is a really nice passion fruit. If you watched my review of Kringle Passion Fruit Punch, you know that that was a massive disappointment to me because that particular passion fruit note smelled so rancid to my nose. I was devastated by Passion Fruit Punch. Here I have a passion fruit that I really love, but it just doesn't have enough oomph for me. Pineapple. Listen, normally, you know, I'm not a pineapple girl. Pineapple is we all have our fragrance notes that we enjoy, and we have our fragrance notes that we don't. This is, again, pineapple done right. I've found a few candles lately where I think the pineapple has actually been quite enjoyable. This is one of those fragrances here. The pineapple is not the standout to my nose, and I'm a bloodhound with any of the fragrances that I don't really care for. I smell it in here, but it's a really like authentic, juicy, ripe pineapple note. It smells very warm. It smells like a pineapple maybe that has been, like it's perfectly ripe and it's been sitting out in the sun for a little while before you cut into it. So it smells warm and sweet and juicy. It's so good. Banana flower. Honestly, I can't tell you if I get banana flower in this or not. I do definitely, however, pick up a little bit of that Lily of the Valley. It's not super prominent in here, so if that's one that kind of scares you off because it's usually so potent, I actually really kind of like it in here. It's really quite lovely. The Orange Blossom is, it's here. It's really beautiful. It's light, it's airy. I think it fits in really well, especially with the passion fruit and the pineapple. Again, Soul Air, no idea. I have no idea. The base of vanilla, amber, and caramelized sugar. Okay, so caramelized sugar, absolutely. It's almost like a touch of like a brown sugar, but not your typical brown sugar that you might find in like a lot of like fall scented candles, where that is, you know, maybe one of the more prominent aspects of the scent. It isn't here, but it does add just a nice touch of warm, almost like a touch of like molasses type of sweetness, but it's not over the top at all. I think most of the sweetness comes from the passion fruit and the pineapple. Amber, I do not detect in here. And vanilla, I also don't feel like I really smell a whole lot of vanilla in here. So yeah, anyway, that's what my nose picks up. So we have more of a focus on the passion fruit and the pineapple, the orange blossom, just a tiny touch of that lily of the valley, and that really sweet kind of almost like molassesy caramelized sugar note. It's a great scent, you guys. This is so, it's just lovely. And I really hope that HomeWorx is able to go back to the drawing board here. And I don't know if they just need to add more fragrance oils. I have no idea what went wrong with this one. I've actually had a pretty decent experience with a number of the newer fragrances as of late, in terms of the strength and throw being fairly good. Not up to like the old school 2017, 2018 HomeWorx standards. I don't know, honestly, that we'll ever get back to that, but I have had a pretty decent experience. The strength and throw of this one, in a hurricane, I can get it up to almost a 5, almost. Honestly, on its own, it's more of like a 3 in terms of strength and throw. It has to be in a hurricane. If you happen to pop this one into your order, I would definitely recommend putting it in a candle sleeve, or if you have the Sherborne Hurricane from Pottery Barn like I have here, or maybe you picked up the Chester Hurricane back in the day from Pottery Barn, or you just have a Hurricane from Marshall's Home Goods, TJ Maxx, wherever, definitely put that into use with this one. I will say I was kind of tempted to test it underneath my candle lamp, but I think I'm just gonna kind of burn it through at this point. I would love to repurchase it, but I'm not for this strength and throw. I need a lot more for the height of my ceilings, and just the size of the rooms in this house. I just need a lot more fragrance output, and I'm not getting it here even in a hurricane. So it's really too bad because it's yummy. Now, the first couple burns in terms of overall burn quality were a little rough. Do not trim your wicks on this one ever. If you did get it, and if you like those lighter scents, here are my suggestions to you. Because honestly, I have had a lot of people tell me that they would really rather have their candles be lighter in terms of strength and throw, because they have family members that might be sensitive to home fragrance, or they have pets, or they just don't want to overdo it. Some people, and this is bizarre, I think, to most of us who are like deep into like the candle community, but there are a fair amount of people who do like a lighter kind of performance out of their fragrances. So yeah, anyway, don't trim your wicks, because this one really struggled to pull out for the first, I would say, 3 or 4 burns. I do limit all of my burns with HomeWorx to a max of 3 to 4 hours. This one, I was able to get 4 hours out of it because it just wasn't fully pulling out. But also the wicks were really kind of thin, so they weren't the type of wicks that held on to a lot of carbon residue that would then potentially, you know, mess up the wax and then mess up the fragrance. Now, after about the halfway point, it ultimately completely corrected itself and started pulling out like completely on its own. I didn't do anything. It started its life in a hurricane, and it's gonna end its life in a hurricane. And it was just one of those where as long as I didn't touch the wicks at all between each burn, it seemed to kind of just chug along on its own and corrected itself. That being said, there might still be a little bit of wax clinging to the side, but as this gets further down, I have noticed that that little bit of wax is now, you know, melting into the overall wax pool. I will give you guys an overhead shot. So, I mean, it looks really pretty, right? Like it has those nice dancing flames, and especially with this like specialty glass here, I think Harry meant for this to look like, I think he said like dripping sugar. I almost thought it looked a little bit like bamboo the first time that he came out with this particular style of jar. But now that I've had a few of these with this type of design, I do think it does look a little bit like dripping sugar. But yeah, the first couple burns were rough. So again, if you got this one and you're gonna like tough it out, just don't touch the wicks. Don't even trim like the little tiny mushroom tops that form. Leave them. Like they don't really fall off into the wax a whole lot, so you're good. Like you don't need to touch this one, just let it go, and eventually it'll correct itself. But do you want to wait for that to happen is the thing. Overall, I just have a hard time wholeheartedly recommending this one despite loving the scent. I just think there are performance issues here that HomeWorx needs to go back to the drawing board with, and I hope that they do. HomeWorx has been recycling a lot of fragrances lately, you guys, and this is why you haven't seen a ton of hauls for me from HomeWorx. They have been generous enough to send a few PR candles here and there. It's not a ton, you guys, so please don't be under that impression. But I have a mission. If you've been with my channel for the last few months, you know that I have this little project that I'm doing where I'm trying to burn a lot of my backup candles from HomeWorx. I let my HomeWorx candle collection get completely out of control, and I just need to whittle it down. So I haven't really placed an order at homeworx.shop in a couple of months, and I probably won't be, because again, a lot of the fragrances that are coming out right now are repackages, and I don't review repackages unless they are tweaked in some kind of way. So yeah. Anyway, let me give you guys the overhead shot here and then we can wrap it up. But I would love to know also what your experience is with this one. In the HomeWorx Facebook group, there was a lot of negative feedback about this one, and yeah, I think it's definitely warranted here, because if you're looking for a good strength and throw, you're just not going to get it from this one. But let's do that overhead shot so that you guys can see. Oh, it all melted now. Okay, good. Well, it looks really pretty and clean now. Before I started this burn today, I did have a bunch of wax that was kind of clinging to the side of the jar over here, and that has completely melted down. And again, these wicks have never been touched by me. I literally just light them and I go, and that's it. So nice tall dancing flames. They're holding up, that's for sure. And as you can see, I am definitely past the halfway point here. So let me zoom in just so that you can see. Yeah, it really is. It's definitely past the halfway point. So I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna let it burn, and I just know that for me, I probably won't repurchase this until it comes back, probably next summer, as a repackage or recycled fragrance. I'd be willing to try it again at that point, but I really hope that the HomeWorx team definitely goes back to the drawing board with this one. I'm gonna send my feedback along to HomeWorx as well, and just let them know that this one, it's great, but they need to do a little bit of work on the strength and throw here. And then I think that initial like overall burn quality needs to be looked at too. I hate to say that because the wicks are so low maintenance, but maybe this one needs some different wicks. Anyway, hopefully this review was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And again, please leave your thoughts about Ohau Passion in the comments down below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos today. Again, subscribe if you are new and you're interested in more home fragrance reviews. Check out the description box for a link where to shop with HomeWorx, as well as a discount code. And there are lots and lots of HomeWorx reviews here on my channel. I have been purchasing and reviewing HomeWorx from their debut over at QVC in, was it 2017? I think it was 2017 that HomeWorx came into being and started selling exclusively at QVC. So I've been buying these candles and reviewing them for a long time. There's a ton of reviews here on my channel if you're interested. So please feel free to check those out, and I appreciate you being here. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.